Hey there, friend. Let me ask you something that might sound a little uncomfortable at first, but it's important. Have you ever walked into the kitchen, opened the freezer, and thought, just one scoop of ice cream won't hurt? Or maybe you passed by the bakery aisle and that shiny, glazed donut seemed to whisper your name. Now imagine this. You're holding that donut or that soft serve cone, or even just a chocolate bar from your stash. You take a bite and for a moment it feels like comfort, like a reward, like you've earned this little indulgence after all these years. But what if I told you that same sweet treat might be stealing something incredibly precious from you? Your memory. I know that sounds dramatic. I know it sounds hard to believe. But stay with me because in this video I'm going to share 3 powerful reasons why common foods like donuts, chocolate, and ice cream could be destroying your memory. And the last one will truly shock you. We're not talking about exotic, processed snacks from halfway around the world. We're talking about the sweet, familiar foods that have been in our lives for decades. Foods we've grown to love. Foods we associate with birthdays, holidays, grandkids, good times, even comfort on the tough days. And yet, those same foods might be silently chipping away at your brain health. Now I want you to know I'm not here to shame you. I'm not here to take away life's little pleasures. I'm here because I care. Because I've seen what memory loss does. I've watched strong, sharp people, parents, grandparents, neighbors slowly forget names, faces, conversations they had just hours before. I've seen the fear in their eyes when they realize they don't remember what day it is, or where they left the keys, or even why they walked into a room. And here's the thing, memory loss doesn't usually start with something big. It sneaks in slowly, quietly. And sometimes it starts with what's on your plate. So let's talk. Let's sit down just like 2 friends over a cup of tea and look at what's really happening. Let's uncover the truth about these innocent-looking foods and what they might be doing to our aging brains. Because knowledge is power. And I know that it's never too late to take back control. Alright, let's start with the first reason. Point 1. The sugar sneak attack. How glucose hijacks your brain. Let's go back a few years. Maybe a few decades. Do you remember when sugar used to be a treat? Something you had on Sunday afternoons or after dinner on special occasions. But today it's everywhere. Hidden in places you'd never expect. And when you bite into that donut or swirl a spoonful of ice cream into your mouth, what you're really giving your body is a sugar bomb. Here's why that matters. Your brain runs on glucose, sugar in a sense, but it needs the right amount. Not too little, not too much. When you flood your body with sugar, your blood glucose levels spike. Your pancreas releases insulin to bring it back down. But here's the kicker. Over time, your body can become insulin resistant. And that doesn't just affect your blood, it affects your brain. Recent studies show that high sugar intake is strongly linked to cognitive decline. In fact, some researchers are now calling Alzheimer's disease type 3 diabetes because of how closely it's tied to insulin resistance in the brain. Think about that. That sweet snack? It may be overworking your insulin response and setting the stage for memory loss, confusion, and even dementia down the road. And it doesn't just happen overnight. That's what's so dangerous. It builds slowly, silently, bite by bite. Now, I'm not saying you can never have sugar again, but I am saying it's time we open our eyes to how much is really too much. Because protecting your brain? That's worth more than any slice of cake. Point 2. Inflammation. The fire inside. Here's something many folks don't realize. Memory loss isn't just about forgetfulness. It's about inflammation. When you eat foods high in sugar and saturated fats like most donuts, chocolate bars, and creamy ice creams, they can trigger a reaction in your body. Your immune system sees these processed ingredients as invaders, and it fights back. But unlike a cold or infection that eventually goes away, this kind of food-triggered inflammation doesn't stop. It becomes chronic. And it doesn't stay in your stomach, it travels to your brain. Now, why does that matter? Because your brain is delicate. It's protected by something called the blood-brain barrier, which filters what gets in and out. But inflammation can weaken that barrier. And when it does, harmful substances can pass through, causing damage to your brain cells. Some scientists believe this chronic, low-grade inflammation is one of the main drivers behind cognitive decline, memory loss, and even conditions like Alzheimer's. And here's the heartbreaking part. Most of us never even see it coming. We just think we're tired, or stressed, or getting older. We brush off the forgetfulness as no big deal. But underneath, the inflammation is building. I'm sharing this because I want you to feel empowered, not afraid. You can make changes. You can reduce inflammation. you can heal. And that brings us to the third reason, and this one might just surprise you. Point 3. The gut-brain connection. Your second brain may be in trouble. Have you ever heard the phrase, trust your gut? Well, it turns out that your gut, yes, your stomach, is more connected to your brain than we ever realize. There's an entire system of nerves in your digestive tract called the enteric nervous system. Some scientists even call it the second brain. But here's where it gets wild. The bacteria in your gut, good and bad, communicate directly with your brain. They influence your mood, your memory, your focus, even your risk of developing dementia. Now guess what foods throw your gut bacteria completely out of balance? You guessed it. Refined sugar, processed carbs, and high-fat dairy, the very ingredients in donuts, chocolate, and ice cream. When you eat these foods regularly, you're feeding the bad bacteria in your gut. And when those bad bugs take over, they send distress signals to your brain. The result? Brain fog, poor memory, trouble concentrating, depression, anxiety, even neurodegeneration. It's like the gut is screaming for help, but we keep silencing it with sprinkles and whipped cream. Now, I know this might sound overwhelming, but here's the beautiful truth. Your gut can heal. Your brain can recover. It starts with awareness. Then, with simple choices day by day, you can rebuild your health from the inside out. And I'll walk with you every step of the way. In the next part of this video, we'll dive into what you can do, the foods that nourish your brain, the habits that protect your memory, and how to enjoy life's sweetness without sacrificing your mind. But for now, take this in. You're not powerless. You're not just getting old. Your brain is still strong, still capable, still worth fighting for. And you're not alone. Stick with me. The best is yet to come. Healing foods and simple shifts that protect your memory. I'm so glad you're still with me. It means something. It means you care, not just about living longer, but living better, clearer, brighter. With your memory intact, your mind sharp, and your independence protected. Now, after everything we talked about in Chapter 1, the sugar, the inflammation, the gut-brain connection, it's easy to feel a little discouraged, maybe even a little scared. But don't worry. This chapter? This is where the hope comes in, because here's the truth: your brain is not a lost cause. Even if you've been eating donuts for decades, even if chocolate has been your comfort, even if ice cream is your go-to after a tough day, your body is always ready to heal. Always. It's never too late. So today, I want to show you how to shift, gently, realistically, and with kindness. Not by giving up everything you love, but by adding in the things that love you back. Let's start with the foundation. Point 1. Feed your brain the right fuel, real food, real power. You wouldn't put diesel in a car that runs on regular gas, right? Same thing with your brain. So what does your brain love? Let's start with berries. Blueberries, in particular, are packed with antioxidants called flavonoids. These little compounds are like bodyguards for your brain cells. They fight off the damage caused by free radicals, which build up from poor diet, stress, and aging. In fact, one study from Harvard followed over 16,000 women over the age of 70 and found that those who ate the most berries had slower rates of cognitive decline, by as much as 2.5 years. That's powerful. And it's not just berries. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, like wild-caught salmon, walnuts, flax seeds, are like brain fertilizer. They help build and maintain the structure of your brain cells, especially in areas involved in memory and learning. You don't need to eat a pile of fish every day. Even a couple servings a week can make a big difference. Then there are leafy greens, spinach, kale, collard greens. I know. They're not exactly as exciting as a warm donut, but they're rich in vitamin K, folate, and lutein. Studies have found that seniors who eat more greens have brains that perform like people 11 years younger. That's almost like reversing time. And of course, don't forget water. Yes, something as simple as drinking more water can improve your focus and reduce brain fog. Dehydration can make your brain feel sluggish, tired, forgetful. So remember, every sip counts. Point 2. Break up with the sweet stuff, but do it kindly. Now let's talk about sugar. Cutting back on sugar doesn't have to mean a life without pleasure. It doesn't mean you can never enjoy dessert again. It just means taking back control. Start by reading labels. Even foods that look healthy, like yogurt, granola, or cereal, can be packed with hidden sugars. Look out for words like high fructose corn syrup, cane sugar, glucose, and even honey or agave. Yes, those sound healthier, but to your brain, sugar is sugar. Then try swapping. Instead of a chocolate bar, how about a square of dark chocolate, at least 70% cocoa? It has antioxidants and less sugar, and it actually benefits brain health in moderation. Instead of ice cream, try blending a frozen banana with a little almond butter and cinnamon. It's creamy, sweet, and totally satisfying, and it won't spike your blood sugar. Instead of donuts, try baking almond flour muffins at home with stevia or monk fruit sweetener. There are recipes out there that taste delicious and still honor your brain. This isn't about deprivation. It's about liberation. About feeling good after you eat, not guilty. Not foggy. Not tired. Point 3. Heal your gut, and your brain will follow. Remember in Chapter 1 we talked about your gut being your second brain. Let's give it some love. Start with probiotics. Those are the friendly bacteria that help your gut stay balanced. You can find them in fermented foods like plain Greek yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, and even pickles. If you're not used to those, start slow. Even a few bites a day can begin to shift your gut environment in the right direction. Then feed those probiotics with prebiotics, foods that act like fertilizer for your good gut bugs. We're talking garlic, onions, asparagus, bananas, oats, apples. And don't forget fiber. It's not glamorous, but it's a game changer. Fiber helps your digestion, supports healthy cholesterol, and keeps your blood sugar steady, all of which are key for your brain. Most people over 60 don't get enough fiber, but it's not hard to fix. A handful of almonds, a bowl of steel-cut oats, a side of roasted Brussels sprouts. These little choices build up fast. Point 4. Rebuild trust with your body and your mind. Here's what I've learned from working with older folks, family, and friends over the years. When you start feeding your body the right things, your body starts talking back. You wake up with more energy, your brain feels clearer. You're less moody, less anxious. You start remembering things again. You feel younger, not just in your body but in your soul. And when that starts happening, you begin to trust yourself again. You don't feel trapped by sugar cravings or brain fog. You feel strong, capable, in control. Because you are. Let me share something personal. A woman named Carol reached out to me last year. She was 68, newly retired, and scared. She'd always been sharp. She worked in finance, raised 3 kids, managed a household. But she was starting to forget things. Little things at first. Then names. Appointments. Words mid-sentence. She told me, "I feel like my mind is slipping through my fingers." But Carol made one decision. Just one. She stopped buying ice cream. Not forever, just for a month. She swapped it for frozen fruit and unsweetened yogurt. Then she started adding a few greens to her lunch, drinking more water, a walk after dinner. Within 3 months, she said the fog was lifting. She felt like herself again. She was even reading books again, something she hadn't been able to focus on for years. She told me, "I didn't think it would work. I thought it was too late. But now I feel like I got a piece of my life back." That's what I want for you. You don't need to change everything today. You just need to take the first step. Add one thing. Remove one thing. Notice how you feel. This isn't a race. It's a reunion with your best, brightest self. In the final chapter, we're going to talk about what really motivates change. The emotional side. The habits that last. And why the small things we do today can echo for years. But for now, take this to heart. You're not broken. You're not beyond repair. And you can build a brain that serves you, not scares you. If you're still here, that tells me something really important about you. You care about your future. You care about your health. You care about your mind. And even more than that, you believe deep down that it's not too late to make a change. And you're right. Now, in the first 2 chapters, we talked about the dangers of certain foods like donuts, chocolate, and ice cream, and the ways they silently chip away at your memory, your focus, and even your sense of self. We also explored the foods and habits that help rebuild and protect your brain. But here's the truth we don't talk about enough. Knowing what to do isn't always the hardest part. The hardest part is doing it consistently, sticking with it, especially when life gets stressful, when we're tired, when old habits whisper our name. So this final chapter is about you. Not the science, not the facts, but your life, your story, your why. Because real lasting change, it doesn't come from fear, it comes from love. Let me explain. Point 1. Who are you doing this for? Close your eyes for just a moment. Think about someone you love deeply. Maybe your spouse, your grandkids, your best friend. Maybe it's even you, your younger self. The version of you who used to feel sharper, quicker, more alive. Now imagine being fully present with them. Remembering every smile, every story, every laugh. What would it mean to protect those moments? To keep them safe because your memory is strong? Because your brain isn't fading, it's flourishing. That's the real reason behind these changes. It's not about perfection. It's about connection. About being able to finish a sentence without forgetting your point. About walking into a room and remembering why you're there. About holding on to the memories that matter most and making new ones with the people you love. Every food choice you make isn't just about your body. It's about your life. Your legacy. Your ability to stay fully you. Point 2. The power of small things done daily. We've been conditioned to think that big change requires big effort. Long diets. Complicated plans. Rigid routines. But let me tell you something I've seen time and time again. Small habits change lives. Point 1. Glass of water first thing in the morning. Point 1. Swap from ice cream to frozen berries. Point 1. 10-minute walk after lunch. Point 1. Moment of saying no to sugar and yes to yourself. These tiny moments, repeated over time, create a foundation of health so strong, it can support your brain for decades. There's a saying I love. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So create a system that supports the best version of you. Not with guilt, but with grace. Put a post-it note on the fridge that says, "My memory matters." Put a water bottle by your chair. Prep some berries in a glass bowl so they're easy to grab. Make it easy to win. And when you fall off track, and you will because we're human, don't beat yourself up. Just come back. Every meal is a chance to return. Every choice is a new beginning. Point 3. The emotional triggers and how to face them gently. Let's be honest for a second. Most of us don't eat chocolate or ice cream just because it tastes good. We eat it because we're lonely, or bored, or stressed, or sad, or even nostalgic. And you know what? That's okay. There's no shame in that. We've all reached for food as comfort, especially as we get older, and some of the people we love aren't around anymore. Or we're facing new health issues. Or we feel left out of a world that's moving too fast. But what if I told you? You can comfort yourself without hurting yourself. Here's what I suggest. Next time you reach for that sweet treat, just pause. Ask yourself, what do I really need right now? Maybe it's connection. Call a friend. Maybe it's stress relief. Take a slow walk. Maybe it's just a moment of peace. Try deep breathing for 30 seconds. Food can be part of the solution, but it doesn't have to be the only solution. Start building a list of emotional go-tos that aren't food-related. And watch how your relationship with eating begins to shift, naturally, gently, with love. Point 4. Believe in the brain's ability to heal. I want to leave you with something I believe with my whole heart. Your brain can heal. Even after years of sugar. Even after inflammation. Even if you're already seeing the signs of decline. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections, is real. Science proves it. Your brain can grow, adapt, and repair itself even in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. That means you can start now. Today. With what you have. Right where you are, you can write a different ending to your story. One that's not filled with fear or fog, but with clarity, with joy, with the freedom to be fully present for the moments that matter most. Point 5. You're not alone in this. You've made it this far in the video, and that tells me something else. You're not just watching. You're ready. Ready to take control of your brain health. Ready to honor your body. Ready to live with more energy, more focus, more confidence. And I want you to know, I'm with you. Every step, every swap, every slip-up, every win. You don't have to do this perfectly. You just have to keep going. Keep caring. Keep choosing yourself because you're worth it. So here's your invitation. Start today. Choose one small thing from this video. Just one. Maybe it's tossing the ice cream from your freezer. Maybe it's adding berries to your morning. Maybe it's saying, I deserve better than brain fog. Whatever it is, do it for you. For your family. For your future. Because the truth is, life still has so much sweetness to offer. And it doesn't come from a donut. It comes from moments of clarity, from names remembered, from stories passed down, from long walks and real conversations, from feeling alive, not just awake. Your best years aren't behind you, they're right in front of you, so let's go get them. I believe in you. And I'll be right here cheering you on every step of the way. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.